What's going on, everybody? This is ETOG Achilles. Just coming with something brand new off the top of my head, something that I wanted to do. It's gonna be a no false words series, something that I like to say and kind of like put out there, like on my Twitter or anywhere anybody speaks to me. Really, it's one thing that I kind of put out there front and center is that I don't really lie about anything I like to say, anything I like to speak about, for better or worse. I say what I think. And I felt like it would be something fun and, just something good to bring to the ETOG channel for myself personally. I feel like it's a good way for people that, support us to like really get to know me personally. And I take a job approach to competitive gaming on the games, and I feel like it's something that I need to also do off the games because nobody really buys into anything without knowing what they're getting into. So, my whole mindset is like, why would anybody, tune into anything that I have to say or anything that I like to do if they don't really know me? So this is just my personal thing to try and, alleviate that a little bit. With that being said, this is going to start being a regular thing because, like I said, this is something that I wanted to do. So, this is for, myself first and foremost, and hopefully it's something that everybody that watches can enjoy as well. The first thing I kind of wanted to dedicate this video to more than anything was my experience so far with streaming. And streaming is something that I've wanted to do since like 2008, 2009. And, honestly, it's just something that looked like a ton of fun. Like when I was seeing people's montages, it was something that I wanted to do as well. But streaming was always the thing that had my attention more than anything. And honestly, for people that have never done it, well, I mean, for me personally, I can't say it's the case for everybody because everybody's different. But for me, it just makes playing the games you're playing that much more fun, broadcasting it and, putting it out there for people to potentially see and, like, take part in. It kind of brings back that old school feeling of like having a bunch of buddies over and like you're playing like this really hardcore one player game and everybody's just chilling behind you, like seeing how you do it and stuff like that. It kind of brings me back to those days. Obviously nobody does that now, but still. And the other thing with streaming for me, I'm sorry for the background noise, it's just how it is around here. The other thing with streaming is that I've always had a mindset that it's not about what you can say so much as what you can show, what you can prove. Because if you ask a lot of guys out there, they'll tell you that like they're incredible at whatever game they play. They'll tell you that they, in first-person shooter cases, they drop 30 bombs all the time and stuff like that. But if they can't show it, then it really doesn't go for much. At least that's how I've always approached it. So that's another reason that I like to stream. Because I don't really like to say anything like that. I like to let my gameplay speak for themselves. And that's just where I am with that. One thing that I had to go through, and I knew I was going to go through it from the onset, was like a really hardcore like viewer learning curve and stuff like that. Like I never had this mindset that I was going to be this guy that I just started streaming and automatically people would be tuning in. And for those who don't know, like I've been streaming since March, this past March. Actually, the day Titanfall came out, because that was also the day that they allowed people to stream off Xbox One. And at the time, that was really the only means I had to stream. And that's something that I want to emphasize, like as much as possible, is for people who watch pro streams and like YouTubers stream or and stuff like that, where they have like overlays and it's like really professional looking. They have the webcams. Don't let anything like that sway you if it's something that you want to entertain, because really the meat of the whole thing is the gameplay itself. And I think the pro players and all the professional YouTubers, they know that as well. Aside from maybe Nate, you can't just sit on the camera not doing anything and get people to watch. But, he's way out there. He's way different. So yeah, if you're just starting out like I was in March, I wouldn't want any of that to sway anybody off of streaming. Just because you don't have an overlay, you don't have a webcam, you don't have any of those things, doesn't mean your stream is going to be any less than, somebody else who does have it. And that's just the way I see it. One hump that I really had to get over, like really, really bad, was that I would have this really bad habit of anytime I had more than one viewer, I would immediately start getting nervous and I would feel like I had to play a certain way to get them to stay. And instead of just playing my game the way I would normally play it, I would let viewers dictate how I would play. Like, the minute they would jump in, I would start forcing everything and start playing horrible. I mean, like, my actual funniest experience with that was one day where my Gears buddies actually put my stream out there, and some of them tuned in, and I had like 17 viewers. And up until they showed up, I was actually playing a really good game. And then the minute I looked down and I saw 17, it was just like, this really big moment for me because I never had 17 viewers before. All of a sudden, I started forcing everything. I was getting destroyed left and right, and just like that, everybody left. And it was funny. Like, even at the time, I was kind of laughing about it, but it's a hump that I definitely had to get over. And I'm over it now. Like, to be honest about that, I'm like way over that now. The other thing that I kind of had to come to terms with is that I wanted to make it clear that I wasn't going to be one of these guys that ignored viewers either. And a lot of the times I would see people come in and I actually pay attention to like who's watching and stuff like that. And I would just, try to be friendly or whatever and interact with people first. And this really bad tendency kept popping up where I would interact with people first and right away they would just leave. Like, it didn't matter that I was polite, didn't matter that I acknowledged them, whatever, they just, right away, they were out of there. So, in a funny manner, I started deciding to ignore people and just wait for them to say stuff to me first, because every time I'm polite, they're out of there. Like, no matter what's going on in the game, I say, hey, I say, well, whatever, welcome, like, I appreciate you watching, boom, gone. So, I got out of that habit, too. One thing that I really, really, really wanted to emphasize with anybody watching this video that's just getting started, and like it's something that I emphasize with my ETOG buddies too, those that are still here and those that are no longer here. It was something that I emphasized with them is that I have a straightforward turn on and forget mentality when it comes to streaming. And when I say that, it means that I turn on my stream and I totally forget about it. I just play. Like, I don't focus on anything going on with the stream or anything like that until, like, obviously, like, maybe some people come in and they're actually trying to interact with me. I'll notice it because I always have it panned up next to me. But it's not something, a lot of guys will get into this habit where, and it's hard for first timers where they turn it on, they're not getting the viewers, so they feel like, oh, well, why am I doing this and if nobody's watching? I'll tell you why. If you have a YouTube channel, even if people aren't watching, you're still getting stuff worthy of going on a YouTube channel. And, not everybody wants to do YouTube too, I understand that, but if it is something you want to do it as a tandem, then even if people aren't watching, you're still doing new stuff to put on there. And it essentially could serve as, here, look, this is in case you didn't watch, or in case you don't watch or you don't know, this is kind of what you come to expect, So that's just my mentality now. Is like, I don't even pay attention to viewer count. I don't get discouraged. Like, I stream day in and day out and nobody tunes in, and it doesn't bother me because that's not why I'm doing it. I mean, that's just a me thing. Like, I do it for me. Like, I love to do it. It's fun. It makes the games more fun. And I like having something to go back to afterwards. Like, I have something to show for what I did while I was on the games or whatever, regardless if nobody was around to take part in it with me other than my teammates or whatever, because, with esports and whatnot. But it's something that I would try to push on to anybody else who's still just starting out, is just turn it on and forget about it. Just play your game, do whatever makes you play comfortable, do whatever makes you play good, and worry about all the other stuff afterwards, because if you just keep at it, you can't go unnoticed forever. That's just my mentality with this kind of stuff. Is I've been streaming since March. I don't promote my own stream at all. I really don't. Like, I have it set up automated message, and then after that, I don't say anything because I just have a personal problem with asking people for things. So that's really the only reason I don't do it, and I feel a certain kind of way asking for people to watch my stream. I'd rather them just be there because they decided to be there, but that's not necessarily the right way to go about it. That's just my way to go about it. But if you do get viewers, you definitely want to make it a point to show appreciation. And I don't mean just saying thank you. Like, you really want to let these people know that you appreciate the fact that they took some time out of their day to watch what you have to offer. Because a lot of people think that because you have success with one area, like let's just say Twitter, for example, or if they had success on YouTube, they think that success will directly translate over to Twitch, and that's just not the case. Or MLG for people who are fortunate enough to stream on there. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't, and that was an advantage I had going in because, now I have over 1,000 followers on Twitter, and still to this day, I don't expect to have people tuning into my stream, and so when it doesn't happen, it doesn't bother me. I'm totally fine with it, like I know that my time will come as long as I keep at it. And I really do stream as much as I possibly can because I have the time to do it. Like I see a lot of pro players out there, basically asking for credit when they stream for like 10 plus hours, day in and day out. They have viewers when they do that, I do the same thing with no viewers, and I don't really care about getting acknowledged for that. It's supposed to be fun, not something that, people should be praising you for. But that's just, that's just the way I see it. It's not the way everybody sees it. And I can respect anybody who doesn't see it that way and disagrees with me on that. But one thing I wanted to say is that the reason I wanted to make a video like this, because I'm a relative unknown at this point. I have no problem with that. Like, there's plenty ahead of me if I keep at it, and that's just going to be my approach. A lot of guys that are already there, they've already made it, will make videos like this, and people will watch them, and they'll give great advice, absolute great advice. But there's also viewers that see that, think that they'll just do what these guys tell them in the videos, and immediately that success will come. And it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. Like, there's a lot of time that those guys put in to get to where they're at. And I felt like it would be like a little bit different to get a similar sentiment from somebody like me who's a relative unknown that still has a bunch of that work to put ahead of him. So, essentially it's different when you hear this kind of thing coming from somebody who's still in the trenches, because that's exactly where I am. And that's where I'm going to be for a while, and I know that. And I'm not going to get discouraged by, any of the numbers that I don't get, or or get too encouraged by the numbers that I do get, and that's just going to be my mentality. Either way, I hope that this is something that you guys could appreciate coming from somebody, like I said, who's still unknown. And that's just where I stand with that. No False Words is going to continue. I don't know when my next video is going to be, but I definitely know that I have a lot of stuff that I want to get out there, and hopefully it's something that you guys could enjoy too. Like, I would appreciate any feedback whatsoever. Even if it's bad or whatever, like, I encourage people to actually, speak up. Like, I like to feel like I'm actually talking to people, and it's not just, a viewer count going up on some of these videos or whatnot. So, definitely stay tuned. There will be no, more No False Words segments coming. Like I said, I just don't know when. It's just something that, like, if I feel the mood strike me. And honestly, I want to give some of these old videos time to, like, really be seen before I, start airing out more stuff on there as well. If you've been watching the Destiny gameplays, I appreciate that. I'm going to try and get right back to what we're supposed to be doing with that, but I've honestly just been having a lot of fun on Destiny. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm out of here. It's Achilles with the Z. Remember it. Thank you for watching.